If you're over 60, this might be one of the most crucial health warnings you'll hear this year. Picture this. You're meeting an old friend for lunch, but midway through the chat you forget the name of her grandson, the one you've known for years. A chill runs down your spine. Later that day, you wander into the kitchen for your regular afternoon snack, maybe a few cookies or a bag of chips, and chalk up that memory lapse to just aging. But what if it's not just age? What if that everyday snack is silently killing your brain cells without you even realizing? Here's a startling fact. Mild cognitive impairment, those senior moments of forgetfulness beyond normal aging, affects roughly 12 to 18% of Americans over 60. That's nearly 1 in 7 seniors experiencing measurable memory and thinking declines. And nobody is talking about one of the sneaky causes. Doctors are now warning that a popular type of daily snack could be accelerating this decline. In the U.S., nearly 60% of the average diet comes from these ultra-processed snack foods, so this is not a rare guilty pleasure. It's something most of us eat every day. But here's what nobody tells you about that innocent-looking treat you reach for daily. It could be poisoning your brain over time. A massive 2024 study by researchers at Massachusetts General Hospital, affiliated with Harvard, found that ultra-processed foods, the category that includes many chips, crackers, sweets, and packaged snacks, are strongly linked to worsening brain health. The researchers discovered something alarming. For every 10% increase in the proportion of ultra-processed snacks in your diet, your risk of cognitive impairment shot up by. Think about that. Just replacing some real food with a few extra cookies and chips each day might raise your chance of memory loss by double digits. And it gets worse. Another groundbreaking study tracked over 11,000 people and found those who got more than 20% of their daily calories from junk snacks had a 28% faster rate of overall cognitive decline, and a 25% faster decline in executive functions like decision-making. In plain terms, that daily habit of a soda and a couple of snack packs could make your memory and thinking fade 28% quicker than someone who eats minimal processed snacks. Scientists called the results shocking. It's as if these foods are aging your brain at warp speed. No wonder doctors are sounding the alarm. This isn't just about numbers and studies, it's personal. Let me introduce you to Mary, a 67-year-old grandmother from Ohio. Every afternoon around 3 p.m., Mary would settle in her armchair with a cup of tea and a couple of chocolate chip cookies, her little daily treat to herself. She never imagined this routine could be harmful. After all, it's just a snack, not a big meal. But over the past year, Mary noticed more senior moments. Once, she got in her car and forgot the route to her favorite grocery store, a drive she'd done for decades. Another time, she blanked on her neighbor's name during a chat. Mary was terrified that she might be sliding toward dementia. When she finally mentioned these incidents to her doctor, the first question he asked was, "Tell me about your diet." Surprised, Mary listed her meals, generally balanced, and then almost as an afterthought, mentioned her daily cookies and other treats. That's when the doctor explained that those exact snacks could be contributing to her memory lapses by causing inflammation and blood sugar spikes in her brain. Mary was shocked. Cookies harming her brain. It sounded crazy, but it opened her eyes. With her doctor's guidance, she cut back on the sweets and processed snacks, and started having a handful of nuts and berries in the afternoons instead. Within 2 months, Mary felt mentally sharper. She stopped losing her keys so often, and felt more focused in her daily tasks. Her story is a powerful reminder. The foods we eat every day can either sharpen or sabotage our brains. Now, before we dive deeper into why these everyday snacks are so dangerous and how you can protect yourself, I want to hear. Tell me in the comments, how old are you, and what's one snack you just can't resist each day? Is it something sweet like cookies or chocolate, or maybe salty like chips or pretzels? Perhaps you've been opting for sugar-free snacks and assuming they're safe. I read and respond to as many comments as I can, because your stories might help thousands of others realize they're not alone, and we can all learn from each other's experiences. So drop a comment below, with your age and your go-to snack. No judge. Let's get a conversation going and support each other in better brain health habits. Alright, without any further ado, let's get straight into the 5 hidden dangers of this everyday snack habit, and most importantly, what you can do to avoid these brain killers. Stay with me till the end, because the last danger is something that stunned researchers, and knowing it could literally save your brain. Danger number 5. Chronic inflammation, the silent neuron killer. Let's start with the most foundational problem, inflammation. You've probably heard this word before, but what does it have to do with a snack? Well, those ultra-processed snacks, think packaged chips, cookies, candies, pastries, all the tasty stuff, are often loaded with refined starches, added sugars, unhealthy oils, and chemical additives. This toxic combo does more than add empty calories, it lights a slow fire of inflammation in your body and brain. In fact, experts say ultra-processed and fried foods drive inflammation and cognitive decline. Regularly munching on things like chips, cookies, fries, and processed meats has been linked to faster memory decline, mood issues, and higher dementia risk. That's right. That afternoon cookie fix or nightly bowl of ice cream might be causing microscopic inflammation in your brain, making your neurons, brain cells, sick. You won't feel this inflammation brewing. There's no pain receptor in your brain to warn you, which is why we call it a silent killer of neurons. Why is inflammation such a big deal? Think of it like rust on a car. A little bit of rust is normal wear and tear, but chronic inflammation is like dumping salt water on your engine every day. Eventually, something critical is going to corrode. In your brain, chronic inflammation slowly damages synapses, the connections between brain cells, and even causes neurons to die off prematurely. Researchers believe this is one reason high consumption of junk food is associated with memory problems and even depression. One study found that people who frequently ate fried, starchy snacks like French fries and chips had more markers of neuroinflammation and were more likely to report anxiety and depression symptoms. It's scary. You're enjoying a tasty treat, totally unaware that it's triggering inflammatory reactions that erode your brain health over time. The good news is that once you become aware of this silent inflammation, you can stop pouring fuel on the fire. By cutting back on ultra-processed snacks, you allow your body to cool down that inflammation. And there are also foods that actively fight inflammation. We'll talk about solutions soon. But first, we have to talk about another hidden havoc these snacks wreak. One that might shock you because it involves something as simple as your blood sugar. Cliffhanger. The next danger might surprise you. It's about how your favorite snack could be disrupting your brain's energy supply every single day. Danger number 4. Blood sugar spikes. Type 3 diabetes of the brain. The snacks we love, donuts, candy bars, soda, even those supposedly healthy cereal bars, often contain loads of sugar and refined carbs. When you eat them, your blood sugar skyrockets and then crashes. You know the routine. You get a quick jolt of energy followed by a slump. But here's what most people don't realize. These wild blood sugar swings can wreak havoc on your brain. Over time, they contribute to something scientists are now calling type 3 diabetes, which is basically insulin resistance in the brain. In fact, the connection between diabetes and Alzheimer's disease is so strong that some researchers nickname Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. What does that mean? It means your brain cells are struggling to use glucose, sugar properly for energy, much like a diabetic's cells do in the body. And if your neurons can't get enough fuel or respond well to insulin, they start to malfunction or even die. Think about it. Glucose is the primary fuel for your brain. When you constantly bombard your system with sugars from cookies, cakes, white bread, etc., your body pumps out insulin to control the sugar. But if this becomes a daily habit, your cells start ignoring the insulin. They become insulin resistant. This includes brain cells. The result, your brain may be swimming in sugar, but starving at the same time, because the cells can't absorb the glucose efficiently. It's like having a fridge full of food, but the door is locked. Your brain is hungry in the midst of plenty. Over time, this leads to cognitive impairment. High blood sugar also triggers chronic inflammation, as we mentioned, and damages blood vessels that feed the brain. In one report, researchers noted that diabetes-related blood vessel damage can literally starve the brain of oxygen and nutrients, leading to brain tissue damage. Not to mention, excess insulin and blood sugar can promote the buildup of toxic proteins in the brain and interfere with the way neurons communicate. The end result of these sugar spikes, it's brain fog and memory trouble in the short term, and potentially serious cognitive decline in the long term. Ever notice how, after a big sugary snack or drink, you feel tired or can't think clearly? That's a mini version of what we're talking about, except in older adults, the stakes are higher. One large analysis found that having diabetes or even prediabetes significantly increases the risk of developing dementia. It's all connected. Now, I'm not saying you have to swear off carbs forever, but quality matters. The refined sugars in processed snacks act like a roller coaster for your bloodstream and brain. By contrast, whole foods with natural sugars like fruits or sweet potatoes come packaged with fiber that slows absorption and prevents those extreme spikes. We'll discuss solutions soon, including how to enjoy sweetness without the brain damage. But first, let's move on to another danger. If spiking your blood sugar is like taking your brain on a wild ride, The next issue is like quietly laying a trap for Alzheimer's down the road. Cliffhanger, you might be thinking, sure, sugar isn't great, but could my snack really lead to Alzheimer's or dementia? The next section tackles exactly that, and the findings will shock you. Danger number 3. Setting the stage for dementia and Alzheimer's. One of the most terrifying prospects of aging is dementia. Losing pieces of who you are, your memories, your ability to live independently. We all want to avoid that fate, yet by eating the wrong snacks daily, we may unintentionally be setting the stage for dementia years down the line. How? These ultra-processed foods can contribute to the very changes in the brain that underlie Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. For example, many ultra-processed snacks and convenience foods are high in nitrates, preservatives, and unhealthy fats. Think of processed meats like bacon, hot dogs, or pepperoni sticks. Yes, some people snack on those, or even that microwave popcorn with butter flavor. These often contain chemicals that, over time, may damage the brain. One huge study of nearly 500,000 people found that each additional 25 grams of processed meat per day, that's about one slice of bacon or a small sausage, was associated with a 44% higher risk of developing dementia. Let that sink in. A 44% increase from what seems like a tiny daily indulgence. The culprits here include things like sodium nitrite, a preservative, and excessive salt and saturated fat, which together can lead to high blood pressure and inflammation, undermining brain health. Over years, high blood pressure stiffens arteries and reduces blood flow to the brain, which can cause tiny unnoticed strokes and accumulative damage to brain tissue, often called vascular dementia. Inflammation, as we covered, gradually destroys neurons. It's a 1-2 punch contributing to dementia risk. Another hidden hazard, some artificial ingredients might promote the buildup of toxic proteins in the brain. A notable example is diacetyl, the butter-flavor chemical once common in microwave popcorn, which has been found to enhance beta-amyloid plaque formation, a hallmark of Alzheimer's. Now, many manufacturers have reduced diacetyl use after those findings, but it shows a bigger picture. The chemicals in processed snacks can reach your brain. Some can cross the blood-brain barrier and leave residues or trigger toxic effects. Over the long haul, that could translate to earlier or more severe dementia. And we can't ignore the overall dietary pattern. Diets high in sugar, trans fats, and processed foods are correlated with poorer cognitive performance and a higher risk of Alzheimer's compared to diets rich in vegetables, healthy fats, and lean protein. Conversely, studies show that populations with lower processed food intake, like those following a Mediterranean or MIND diet, have significantly lower rates of dementia. The bottom line here is that the daily choices we make, that donut for breakfast, those chips at lunch, the processed meat jerky or sweets, accumulate into long-term consequences. You might not feel it today or tomorrow, but over years you could be paving the way for serious neurodegenerative disease. It's like compounding interest, but in the worst way. Each unhealthy snack is a small deposit in a dementia risk account. But the flip side, which is hopeful, is that each healthy choice is a deposit in a brain health account. In a moment, we'll talk about how to flip the script and invest in your brain's future. Before that, we have 2 more immediate dangers to cover. The next one is something that can strike suddenly and literally kill brain cells in minutes. It's a risk factor many don't associate with snacks, but you should. Cliffhanger. We've talked slow damage, but what about sudden catastrophe? The next danger is one that can instantly rob you of memories and independence, and your snack habit could be making it more likely. Danger number 2. Higher stroke risk. A brain attack waiting to happen. Imagine this scenario. One day, you're enjoying your evening, when suddenly, your vision blurs, your speech slurs, and one side of your body goes weak. You're having a stroke. It's one of the most frightening medical emergencies, essentially a brain attack where part of your brain's blood supply gets cut off, and millions of brain cells begin to die within minutes. What does this have to do with daily snacks? Quite a lot, unfortunately. Many everyday snacks are laden with salt, unhealthy fats, and even certain additives that can drive up your blood pressure, clog your arteries, or thicken your blood, all recipes for a stroke over time. Neurologists have now warned that diets high in ultra-processed foods significantly increase stroke risk. In that Harvard Mass General study we mentioned earlier, not only did processed foods boost cognitive impairment risk, they also found those who ate more of these foods had higher odds of stroke compared to those who ate mostly fresh foods. To put it in perspective, they observed that people with the most ultra-processed diets had about an 8% higher stroke risk for each increment in processed food intake, even after accounting for other factors. That might sound modest, but strokes are common, even a small percentage bump can translate to many more strokes in a population. Let's talk blood pressure for a moment, since it's a major driver of strokes. Processed snacks, like chips, pretzels, salted crackers, are often very high in sodium. As we age, our blood vessels become less flexible, and high sodium intake can easily push our blood pressure into the danger zone. Nearly 70% of people over 60 have high blood pressure or are on meds for it, and diet is a big reason. Consistently snacking on salty foods is like pumping up the pressure in a garden hose that's already old and stiff. Eventually it might spring a leak. In the case of your arteries, that leak can be a vessel bursting in the brain, a hemorrhagic stroke, or a clot wedging in, an ischemic stroke. Either way, brain cells die by the millions, and unlike many cells in your body, brain neurons do not regenerate easily. When they're gone, taking memories and abilities with them. Even sweet, ultra-processed snacks can raise stroke risk in a sneaky way. Many contain trans fats, though reduced in recent years, or other ingredients that harm blood vessels. And consider artificial sweeteners found in diet sodas, sugar-free candies, and keto snacks. You might think you're making a healthier choice by avoiding sugar, but research indicates some sugar substitutes can be dangerous too. A 2025 study from the University of Colorado Boulder looked at erythritol, a popular zero-calorie sweetener used in everything from diet soda to low-carb cookies. In lab tests, they found that exposing brain blood vessels to levels of erythritol, similar to drinking a can of diet soda, caused multiple changes that increased stroke risk. The cells started producing less nitric oxide, which normally keeps vessels relaxed, and more endothelin 1, which constricts vessels. They also became less effective at dissolving clots and churned out more free radicals that inflame and damage tissues. The result: blood vessels that are narrower, more inflamed and more prone to clots. A perfect storm for a stroke. The lead researcher said, if your blood vessels are more constricted and you can't break down clots well, your risk of stroke goes up. And this was from the equivalent of one snack or drink's worth of sweetener. Imagine those who consume multiple sugar-free snacks a day. Stroke risk can quietly build even when you think you're being healthy. The scary part of a stroke is how sudden it is. All the other damage we've discussed, inflammation, insulin resistance, plaque buildup, happens gradually and silently. But a stroke can strike like lightning. One moment you feel fine, the next your brain is under attack, and only then do you realize the damage that's been accumulated. That's why it's so important to address things now, before something like a stroke occurs. By reducing high sodium, high fat junk foods, you can lower your blood pressure and keep your blood vessels healthier and more elastic. By being cautious with artificial sweeteners and not overloading on processed diet snacks, you avoid those potential vascular effects. We want to keep those arteries clear and resilient, so you never have to experience the nightmare of a stroke. We've covered 4 big dangers so far: chronic inflammation, sugar-insulin problems, dementia risk, and stroke risk. If you're feeling a bit overwhelmed or scared, take a breath. Knowledge is power. Now you see what's at stake with the daily snack habit. But we promised a solution, and we're going to get there. Before we reveal the one most insidious way these snacks harm your brain, and then the hopeful part about fixing it, if you found this information eye-opening, do me a quick favor, hit the like button, and subscribe to our channel. It really helps more seniors discover these important health tips. We've got new science-backed senior health videos coming every single day, and I don't want you to miss any. So turn on notifications after you subscribe. Thank you. Your support means a lot, and it helps us spread the word to others who need it. Transition to final danger. You might be wondering, I've been eating snacks my whole life. Is the damage already done? The biggest danger of all is happening right now in millions of brains. But the good news is, once you know about it, you can stop it. Let's talk about it. Danger number 1. Accelerated memory loss. Your brain aging faster than it should. This is the grand finale of dangers, and it encapsulates everything we've discussed. The ultimate harm of that daily toxic snack habit is that it speeds up your memory loss and cognitive decline, effectively aging your brain faster than Mother Nature intended. Remember that study we cited earlier? People who ate diets heavy in ultra-processed snacks had about a 28% faster decline in overall cognition and a 25% faster decline in executive function like planning and decision-making over about a decade. That is huge. To put it plainly, 2 65-year-old friends, let's call them Alice and Bob, started out with similar cognitive abilities, but Alice eats a lot of chips, sweets, and processed foods daily, while Bob sticks mostly to whole foods. By the time they're 70, Alice's brain might function like someone 3 years older than Bob's, perhaps even more. She may struggle with tasks that Bob handles easily, all because her diet caused her brain to decline faster. We see this in real life all the time, even if we don't immediately link it to diet. Maybe you know someone in their late 60s or 70s who is sharp as a tack, still learning new things, active and engaged, and another person the same age who is forgetful, confused, and withdrawn. While many factors play into this, genes, exercise, education, etc., diet is one of the most important factors we can control. Food is literally the fuel and building blocks for our brains. If you consistently feed your brain high sugar, high fat, nutrient-poor junk, you're essentially putting low-grade fuel into a high-performance engine. It will gum up, it will wear out faster. On the flip side, premium fuel, nutrient-dense foods can help your brain run better for longer. Let's get specific. Memory, the very thing that makes you you. Processed snacks harm memory in multiple ways. They cause insulin resistance and inflammation in the hippocampus, the memory center of the brain, impairing its function. They can lead to atrophy, shrinkage of brain tissue over time. Studies using MRI have found that people who eat more junk food tend to have smaller brain volume in areas important for memory and learning compared to those who eat healthy. And as we mentioned, ultra-processed diets correlate with worse scores on memory tests and faster rates of memory decline. It's like watching a tape on fast forward. The normal age-related memory slips that might occur at 80 are hitting people by 65 or 70 instead, due in part to diet. One particularly sad aspect is mood and motivation. These foods can sap your energy and drive, making you less likely to engage in mentally stimulating activities or exercise, which creates a vicious cycle that further hurts brain health. But enough with the doom and gloom. Yes, this danger is essentially the summary of all the others. Your cherished memories, your sharpness, your independence being stolen, day by day by an unsuspected thief, that daily snack. However, this is not where the story has to end. The final part of this video is the most important. How do we solve this? How do we protect our brains? And maybe even reverse some of this damage. Strong transition to solution hope. We've identified the enemy. Now let's talk about the solution. Because there is hope. You absolutely can take control and give your brain what it needs to heal and thrive, starting right now. Turning the tide. Protecting your brain and reclaiming your memory. Alright, take a deep breath. It's clear that the problem is serious. These everyday snacks are doing a number on our brains. But here's the empowering part. You can fix it. Just as small bad habits compound to hurt you, small good habits compound to help you. Researchers and doctors agree that it's never too late to benefit from positive changes. In fact, some of the most effective ways to combat mild cognitive impairment or early memory loss are non-drug interventions. Improving your diet, and staying physically and mentally active. Your brain has a remarkable ability to heal and adapt when given the chance. First off, diet changes can yield noticeable improvements within weeks. A lot of people ask, if I stop eating junk at 65 or 70, have I already done irreversible damage? The answer from studies and clinical experience is encouraging. You can often slow down or even partially reverse cognitive decline by changing your eating habits. Your body will start reducing inflammation as soon as you cut off the constant supply of pro-inflammatory food. Your insulin sensitivity can improve within days of reducing sugars and refined carbs. Blood flow to the brain can get better as your blood pressure and cholesterol improve over a few months. Many seniors report having more energy and clearer thinking after cleaning up their diet for just a short while. One clinical study even found that memory performance improved in older adults who switched to a healthier diet for 6 months, compared to those who didn't make a change. So what should you eat? The formula is simple. Cut back on ultra-processed snacks and replace them with whole foods and brain-friendly nutrients. Here are some easy snack swaps and additions that make a huge difference. Experts specifically suggest whole food choices like apples with nut butter to satisfy snack cravings in a brain-healthy way. Have a bowl of unsweetened yogurt. Greek yogurt is great for protein, and toss in a handful of blueberries or strawberries. You'll get probiotics good for gut and brain, protein and antioxidants from the berries. It's delicious and fights inflammation rather than causing. A handful of nuts like walnuts or almonds. Nuts are a powerhouse for brain health, packed with omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin E and antioxidants that have been linked to better cognitive function. In fact, Neurologists often snack on walnuts themselves because studies show they can help protect the brain and even lower dementia risk. Keep a small mix of nuts around to munch on instead of reaching for chips. The crunch is just as satisfying. These are just a few ideas. The key is that you're still enjoying tasty snacks, but now they're working for you, not against you. Each of those options fights inflammation and provides steady energy to your brain, instead of spiking your blood sugar or flooding you with salt. Over time, making swaps like this can lead to big improvements. Don't forget hydration. Sometimes we feel sluggish or confused, simply because we're dehydrated. Instead of a soda, try a glass of water infused with lemon or a cup of green tea. Green tea has compounds that are great for the brain, and if you need a caffeine boost, coffee in moderation is fine. Just skip the sugar-laden frappuccino and have it black or with a little milk. Another part of the solution, lifestyle. Nutrition is huge, but pairing a good diet with regular exercise and mental stimulation is the golden trio. Exercise increases blood flow to the brain and can even spur the growth of new brain cells in certain areas. Even a daily walk can help. Mental stimulation, like learning a new skill, doing puzzles, socializing, or even watching educational videos like this one, keeps your neural connections strong. These things combined with a diet change create a synergistic effect. One study noted that people who consistently exercised and ate a brain-healthy diet had significantly slower cognitive decline than those who did only one or neither. It's also important to note, it's never too early and never too late to care for your brain. If you're 60 plus, you might see quicker benefits in how you feel by changing your habits now, because your body will respond gratefully to the better treatment. And if you're watching and you're younger, start these habits early. You'll stack the deck in your favor for the decades to come. Let's bring this home on a hopeful note. The researchers who studied these harmful snacks didn't conclude that all hope is lost. Far from it. They often mention that by identifying the problem, we can take action. As one neurologist said, it's important to pay attention not just to what we eat, but how it's made. That means prioritizing whole or minimally processed foods. And guess what? When folks in studies cut their ultra-processed food intake and replaced it with wholesome alternatives, their risk factors for dementia and stroke dropped, and some cognitive test scores even improved relative to those who didn't change. In one sense, the brain is forgiving. Give it the right fuel and care, and it will do its best to recover and perform. So next time you open the pantry or fridge for that everyday snack, remember the phrase, food is brain fuel. Ask yourself, is this fuel going to clog up my engine or help it run smoothly? Visualize those brain cells. Are we coating them in inflammation and gunk, or feeding them nutrients, so they can fire on all cylinders? By keeping that picture in mind, you can create a new habit loop. Maybe you'll start reaching for a bowl of berries, or a piece of dark chocolate. A little is actually healthy, instead of a processed cupcake. And each of those small choices, repeated daily, will anchor a better future for your mind. The power is truly in your hand. Age-related cognitive decline is not inevitable. As the latest science shows, a large part of it is directly tied to lifestyle, especially diet. You are not doomed to forget your loved ones, or lose your independence. You can fight back by being informed, which you've taken the time to do, bravo, and by making changes one step at a time, you give yourself the best chance of a sharp, vibrant brain well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. How empowering is that? Now, we want to hear from you. When was the last time you thought about how a snack might affect your brain health? Have you noticed any changes in memory or alertness related to your diet? Or maybe you've already made some healthy changes. What's one brain-friendly snack or habit you swear by? And crucially, if this video has motivated you to rethink your daily snack, what's the first change you're going to make starting today? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. We read every single one, and your experience could inspire someone else to take charge of their health. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. We're building a community of sharper, healthier seniors, helping each other out. Thank you for watching, and for caring about your brain. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and share it with a friend or family member who might benefit. Here's to a future where we can all enjoy our golden years with clarity, memory, and joy, making new memories instead of forgetting old ones. Stay healthy, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next video.